That I am loved when I say your name. That's Darren Dean.
Thank you.
Mr. Knowles, you're playing that trumpet very well, my brother. It's our Agape house band. Christian Beckwith is over here on the keyboard. Wayne Augustine is on the bass. David Neal is over here on the guitar. Curtis Bird. Joshua Knowles. That's our band for the day. Bringing it to you each and every way, that we may be in full sway and go all the way saying, hey, 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 who loves you, baby? That would be the presence of God, the Most High, deep within our souls. That was great, wasn't it? Darren Dean, God bless you. Thank you. That was a great, great original composition, Darren Dean. Outstanding. And we welcome you back to you again. As you know, we're celebrating the theme of the month is... What is it? It is. What is it? Wait a minute, I'm going to get it.
You want to know? Look at it.
Yeah, tell me what it is.
The single eye.
There it is, okay. The single eye approach to life. The single eye approach to life. We have heard the scriptural reference over a period of time that says, if thy eye be single, thy body shall be full of light. And we've been teaching this month at least two levels of this particular topic. This particular theme. If the eye is single, if there's an intentionality of which many people do not have, if there's a single focus, if there is something that's pulling you visionward in your life, if the eye is single about your participating in the unfolding of your own soul, the body shall be full of light. Meaning, your body of affairs shall be full to overflowing with infinite potential, infinite opportunities. You've come to the awareness that there used to be a superstitious thought that said opportunity only comes knocking once. But we're aware that opportunity is surrounding us all the time. Possibilities are surrounding us all the time. So we've eradicated that superstition from our mind, and we realize that opportunity is always available if we are available. If the eye is single, the body and the body of our affairs become full of light, and meaning opportunities and possibilities flow through us. We discover that we can become lighthearted, and that lightheartedness is a state of spiritual consciousness that we're able to hold even in the midst of seeming chaos that's moving through the human dilemma. It's becoming a part of the human dilemma at this particular time in human history, where an old paradigm is failing and a new paradigm is being born that's called cadence. A decadence giving way to cadence. That which is in harmony with the fundamental harmony of the universe is rising up. And those who have pierced the veil of four dimensions and are seeing without eyes and hearing without ears the presence of the living God have a sense of lightheartedness about themselves because they know the presence of God, the presence of peace and of love, order and harmony more than anything. And so at the first level of if thine eye be single, thy body shall be full of light, it's almost prose. It's almost poetry. But it seeps into our way of life. But then there's the second version of that. And as I've said this month, the body is an optic nerve. When the eye is single, when there's focus, when the pineal gland, the pituitary gland are activated in a certain way, you step into a luminosity and you see the light of your own being and are immersed in it. And I share that every week this month, I would share one of my own experiences of walking in that light. And today I'm reminded of a moment in which I was getting a massage on a Saturday evening. And as the lady finished the massage, I was sitting on the edge of the massage table, and she was leaving, and she blew a kiss at me, and I was wondering why she wasn't taking her check, why she was just saying goodbye. And then I became aware that I was not in my body. I was sitting on the edge of the massage table, and my body was still laying down on the massage table. So I was aware that she didn't want to wake me up. She thought I was sleeping. So while I was sitting there, inexplicably, my mind said, I want to see Jesus the Christ. That's what my mind said. It wasn't even a conscious uttering. It was just, I want to see Jesus the Christ. And so I took off. And I landed in this field of light that cradled me, embraced me. I was just surrounded by light. It was just all over me, all in me, all through me. I didn't meet any one individual, but the luminosity was very, very intense. And the love and the intelligence was just flooding my being. And this lasted for a period of time, and then it subsided. And I traveled to this room, and it looked like these silver refrigerators were in this room. I didn't know what was in there, but here comes Reverend Carol Traylor. She had recently had made her transition, and she was walking through this room with these women, and she looked at me. She had her hand over her mouth. She went like that, and I said, "Oh, no, I'm just visiting. I didn't pass over. I'm just here." And she said, "Oh, yeah, because we would have gotten notified if you were coming, you know." And we had a conversation about her acclimation in that dimension. And then I said, "Well, you know, how's Carl Anderson doing?" And she said, Carl, he's over there singing, you know how he does like that. And so we had this conversation, and there was time for me to go back to the body. And I was going back to the body temple, and as I was going back, over my house was Egyptian and Indian iconography. It was like all of these kind of buildings etherically were around my house, and I passed through it. I got back to body consciousness, and I woke up. It was around 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 a.m., which is the time I wake up to get ready to come to Agape. And I said, "Whoa." And I woke up, and I had this intense feeling of being taken care of, being loved and appreciated, and so much more than words could even convey at this particular moment. And so when I say that the body shall be full of light, there we are luminous beings. And incrementally or dramatically, as we're doing our spiritual work play, there is an ever-increasing awareness of this luminosity of our own being that's beyond poetry, beyond analogy, beyond metaphor, beyond prose. We are the light. What does it say? That we are the light that lights up every man and every woman that comes into the world, the same light that was found in Jesus the Christ, the same light that emanates through the Buddha, the same light that Kuan Yin glows with, the same light. That light is who we are. We are luminous beings. So when the eye is single, when there is intentionality, when we know who we are, whose we are, why we are here, and we develop certain spiritual practices that allow us to have a level of coherence around the fundamental truth of our being, insights and revelations prevail. And we move beyond opinion, we move beyond merely belief systems, religiosity, we move beyond being a part of something that's a part of our belief system. Something within us expands, and we begin to see the luminosity that is everywhere and becomes more real than the very chairs you're sitting on. And so with that awareness, we segue into the topic of our day, which is take no thought. The multiple benefits clause. You know, in Matthew 6:25, you know, when I quote scripture, I'm not really trying to be religious. I'm just giving you a spiritual understanding of some of the scriptures that are there. But when it is written, take no thought, the whole sentence there says, take no thought for your life. Now, that's a difficult stance to take no thought for your life, and then it goes on to talk about have no anxious thought about your life, but be like the lilies of the field, spinning and toiling not have one anxious thought about how they shall live. You know, be like, you know, the birds in the trees and all of nature who's yielding to the life presence within it, and they're more arrayed than Solomon. And if God can take care of the least of us, quote unquote, and think how much is being prepared for you if you take no thought. What does that mean? That means you did not create yourself. Your life emanates from the eternal, and that life is eternal. That life carries a destiny that is stronger than the density of time and space. And so when you are in spiritual practice and you're moving yourself out of taking thought, anxious thought about your so-called little life, the perception of your little life, then you become available to the multiple benefit clause. When there's an availability, but let's not rush on to that yet. Let's always come to an awareness that you're being encouraged every single service, every class that you take. Every moment that you tune in to our prayer times in the morning or our meditation times in the afternoon or our community times on Friday or in any ministry that you become a participant in here at Agape, you're always encouraged to have some level of practice, so you're leaning on your practice. You're leaning on the insights and the revelations that you are getting in your practice. You're not just believing what I'm saying. You're not just believing what you're reading about in the books, but you're actually putting yourself in a position to have an insight and a revelation, a sense of aha, a sense of wonder, a sense of availability, a sense of touching the hem of the garment, a sense of becoming aware of the great presence that you may have heard about, but through spiritual practice you come to know to your bones the reality of the presence of God. I'm sure of this. So when you take no thought, no anxious thought for your life, which I know is difficult because you're under a barrage in a corporatocracy of getting you to buy things you don't need, to be afraid of things you don't need to be afraid of. It's a constant barrage of hijacking your attention into fear and doubt and worry, war without end, etc., etc., etc. It becomes very difficult for the average individual to extricate their mind from being worried about their little life. But we're saying in substance that you have a life that is divine. You're living, moving, and having your beingness in the presence of God. And when you have an insight into that realm, you can actually walk in this world. You can walk in the world with all the stuff that's going on and not be touched by it. Just like Shadrach and Abednego walked through the fire without getting burned, you can walk through the world without being touched by it, because you are bringing the eternal into time. You're bringing your whole soul destiny into the density of time and space, coagulated thought forms that have condensed themselves around perceptions and beliefs and points of view and positionalities, but are temporary and aren't real in the sense of their being eternal, if you understand what I'm saying to you today. And so what are the benefits? You know, there are multiple benefits. One of the benefits is that you begin to understand that your weakness, your seeming weakness, is a strength in embryo. That is, on this gradation of unity, there aren't any opposites. And two things. One, what appears as a weakness in your life is actually an embryonic state of a strength that's trying to emerge. So instead of fighting against a weakness, you begin to hear, let the weak say I am strong. You begin to hear that whatever the weakness appears to be, there's an energetic there, even if it's a tiny bit of it, that's within you, that's seeking for you to look at it, acknowledge it, and call it forth in your life. So if there's a seeming scarcity, you look for a tiny, tiny, tiny flame of prosperity. Whatever need is being met in your life, you focus on that. What appears to be a weakness until it begins to be activated within you and you go up the gradation from scarcity to abundance, it's already there. There's no opposite in mysticism. There's only gradations on a scale of unity, though there appears to be opposites in this field of polarity. But do you know what polarity really is from a mystical point of view? People would say there's positive and negative. Not so. If you don't understand what negative means. Negative means void. There's a positive and there's a void. And the void is always seeking to be embraced by a positive, by something. So what happens is when you have a positive and a void, like in a magnet, you know, it creates motion. So what happens is the positive and the void in this dimension creates motion so that you actually see a thought. You can actually see a thought. It's called an experience. It's called coagulated thought forms that become experience and become circumstances and situations. That's positive and void moving. Now, this may be a bit much for a Sunday talk. However, I'm just trying to get to you that there's no opposite in God. There's only gradations on the theme of oneness from less activated to more activated. And so you aren't weak. It's just an embryonic state of a great possibility, but you have to notice it in your life. You have to name it. You have to activate it. You have to say, I'm strong. I am prosperous. I am open and receptive to more good than I've ever imagined. You walk in that direction. You see, this is a part of your spiritual practice. Let the weak say, I am strong. The poor say, I am rich. Let God flow through you. Have an intention in that dynamic. And then you have another benefit. And that benefit is you begin to know there's always a way out of where it appears to be no way. The no way condition is limited perception. That limited perception is confined to linearity. It's confined to what you can see and taste and smell and touch and hear. That's being dimensionally challenged. If you're only living in 3 or 4 dimensions, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you live in only a little tiny bit of dimensionality when there's infinite possibilities that lie within you? There's always a way out of no way, but that way is not out there. That way is in here in the mindscape. It's here within your awareness. Everything is calling you to expand your awareness and to change from within so that you can begin to see the possibilities that are all around you based on the projection of the activated good that is within you, projected onto the screen of life. And so I'm reminded about the classic movie, Groundhog Day. And in some way, shape, form, or another, many people are still living in a certain groundhog kind of a day, that every day seems like the same day, or every year they're repeating the same experiences they had the year before. They're doing the same stuff, and it feels like Groundhog Day. But if you remember the movie with Bill Murray, and he was lost or locked, stagnated in this little town that he abhorred, you see. He didn't like the people. He didn't like the small town. He didn't like the job. And every day he woke up, it was the same day. Nothing had changed. It was the exact same day. And then at some point in his awareness, he realized he was living in eternity, so he asked the question, what shall I do with eternity? And he began to grow. He took classes. He became a chiropractor. He became a musician, learned how to play the piano. He did all manner of things, and compassion began to be birthed into his heart. He assisted somebody with changing their tire. He assisted somebody with helping them break free from being choking on their food. He actually expanded his awareness until he became a changed being. And then when he woke up one day, it was a different day because he was a different being. And so the way out of no way is not a linear dynamic trying to change the external world and changing other people. It's changing our perception so that we become different, we become more available, we become expanded, and then what? The world changes. So what does that mean? That means us individually and collectively as a global community, we have to so expand our awareness so that we can begin to see the invisible, to hear the inaudible. And what does that mean? That does not mean you're seeing with your eyes and hearing with your ears. No, because the eyes and the ears are prosthetics of a spiritual faculty. You have the faculty of seeing the invisible. You have a faculty of hearing the inaudible. But it is not your eyes and ears. It's your consciousness. So for a moment, as I'm speaking to you right now, say to yourself, I am enough. I'm available to more good than I've ever imagined. All of my needs are met. Just hear yourself say that. Now become aware of this. You did not hear that with your ears. You heard that in consciousness with your spiritual faculty. This is why I say to you from time to time, are you catching this? Are you catching this in consciousness? Not just are you hearing this, not just are you seeing me, but are you catching this in consciousness? You see? So when you enter into the nonlinear dynamic of prayer and the meditation and all manner of spiritual practices, you become aware there's always a way out of no way, because the no way is from a limited perception, but the way is from an expanded awareness that the miraculous, the nonlinear zone is already here. And so a lot of the things that we're faced with individually and globally on this planet are not going to be solved at the same level that they've been created. Of course not. They are dissolved in an expanded state of awareness. That means we have to rise up to where the solution is. We have to rise up to where the answer is. That's vibrationally rising up. You are not going to create a peaceful world if you are in hate, enmity, anger all the time, and fear and doubt and worry. It's an impossibility because they're different frequencies. The means and the ends must be the same thing. You must vibrate at that space. You must do the work vibrating at that space so that you become the space for the transcendent and for the answers to show themselves in ways beyond your wildest imaginings. Are you catching this? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you feeling this? Remember, take no thought for your little life. Have no anxious thought for your little life. That's spiritual practice. And then the multiple benefits include you become aware that your weakness is a strength in embryo, and you become aware that there's always a way out of no way. And then thirdly, you remember the game you're playing. You remember the game you're playing and the rules. Many people don't know. They don't know. They've forgotten, you see. And I remember back in the 80s, I used to say, listen, this is the game. All of us were kicking back without a body, zipping through the Milky Way, going to Sirius B, hanging, just exploring the universe, the multidimensional universes, the different solar systems, the galaxies. We were having a great time. And then we saw what was happening on planet Earth. And we saw that it was going through a phase that has been prophesied by the shaman of all indigenous cultures, that a paradigm shift was occurring, that the old decadence was giving way to a cadence of harmony and goodwill and golden age and beloved community. It was going to be tumultuous. It was going to be difficult because the old consciousness was not dying. People were holding on to a lot of the stagnant way of thinking. They had forgotten who they were, you see, and greed and avarice and he or she who has the most toys wins. That kind of consciousness was trying to hold on as much as it can, and celebrity and greed had taken over the throne of intelligence and compassion and love. And then we all said to each other, listen, we're going to jump down. We're going to have an earth incarnation, and we're going to play a game. We're going to forget who we are, and the first one that wakes up wins. And so we all jumped down. And here we are at Agape waking up. You see, waking up. Oh my God, I'm not the body. Oh my God, I'm not the circumstances. Oh my God, I'm not what's imprinted on me from religion and schooling and education and parental fantasies. I'm not that. Yes, that's a part of my experience. It gave me the tools to grow and develop and unfold. But we are waking up to the great possibilities that lie within us. So going back to the awareness that the point about our weakness is our strength in embryo. Here's the deal. Sometimes in class, I'll say to the students, because every student comes in for the most part with some level of he or she did it to me story. There's always something that's happened to us. Somebody's done something, somebody said something, sometimes it's parents, sometimes it's an ex, sometimes it's both, whatever. And I'll say, listen, what quality emerged for you in order to deal with that situation? If your mother was so-and-so and your dad was so-and-so or your grandfather, whatever it was, what quality do you now have that you would not have had if the circumstance had been different? And then they'll focus on that. Forgive the seeming lack in the area of their life experience with that individual, and come to realize that shored up quality, the qualities that they now have, give them the capacity to allow for the seeming weakness, the lack, to become a strength, but they're now powerful enough to hold that strength. They have the capacity for it. The multiple benefits, you see, is that one. Yep. Weakness embryonic strength. Way out of no way. You know the game. The game is awakening. So that as we're moving through this world, here's the benefits for us. Here's the benefit for the world. The benefit for us is we get to walk through the world with a dynamic peace that passes human understanding, which is sometimes odd in a chaotic world. We know it to be chaotic, meaning underneath the chaos, there's an order that's emerging. It's a bit odd because people are worried. They're in fear. They have a lot of doubt. They're anxious. The anxiety is fomented by pseudo powers that be, narratives about all manner of things. And you find yourself being an odd person out because you're having a certain degree of joy, a certain degree of peace, but it's not attached to a circumstance. You're an odd individual. But if you continue to have the strength to be odd in that way, then your destiny, your unique expression of why you're on the planet, unfolds in the density of time and space. You become a soulful artist using time and space as the canvas that you get to paint with the colors of your soul, making a vibrational difference on this particular planet at this time in human history. And then secondly, you become a dynamic clearinghouse of all of the thought forms that are emerging of lack, limitation, fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, anxiousness, all of that. As the practitioners here know, when you are steeped in prayer and meditation, and you become absolutely available to the Christ consciousness within you, or the Buddha field, or however you want to call it, when those thought forms hit you, they're transmuted into a higher frequency. You don't fight them. Just your frequency becomes a clearinghouse to the fear and the doubt and the worry that's cascading through the human dilemma, the human experience. You know, it used to be said, you know, by the great teacher, you know, that we're spiritual beings having human experience. For me, I've changed it. I say we're a spiritual being having a human incarnation experience. It's overrated. I'm going to choose my own experience, you know. And so I'm not just trying to have any old human experience. I have a human incarnation. And in this incarnation, I want to experience more bliss, joy, and harmony, and wholeness, and peace. And bring it into time. And I think that's what you want as well, you see. And so here's the arc. Here's the arc. Single-eye approach to living. Intentional. It's one of the things that I said on the Ellen show, and I've been teaching for years. We don't want to suffer from an intention deficit disorder. We want to have intention. Every single day you want to establish some level of intention for your day so that the universal presence through its law can match the intention so that you're consciously participating in your own unfolding, you see? And with intention, if the eye is single, the body becomes full of light. And then you take no thought for your life. We're talking about your little life, the personality constructs. Take no anxious thought about it. Understand you did not create yourself, that this life emerged from the eternal. It's beautiful. You learn to yield to this life. You learn to embrace the life you are enough. You learn to embrace the life you're worthy. You learn to embrace the life you're beautiful. You learn to embrace the life you're the image and likeness of God. You learn to embrace this life. You see? No anxious thought about it. That's practice. That's not like, I'm just going to go do this. This is everyday practice. So that you begin to be aware that your seeming weaknesses are not opposites to something else. They're just a gradation on a spectrum of unity. You find some area of your life where that weakness is activated. You know, you're suffering from scarcity right now. Find some little area where you can celebrate having enough. Doesn't matter where it is. Focus your attention there. So that little flame becomes a fire of activation of the embryonic state into a strength. Let the weak say, I am strong. There's always a way out of no way. Interchange. We know the game? Awakening. I am awakening. I am awakening. And I'm bringing my great destiny into the density of time and space so that I walk on earth creating a vibrational footprint of love and beauty and generosity and compassion and artistry and creativity. I'm not just going for sustainability. I'm not just going for not making a footprint on the earth. I'm going for making a vibrational footprint of bliss and ecstasy and love and generosity energetically. I didn't come here to not leave an imprint. I came here to leave an imprint of beauty and love and joy. And so did you. We, together, get to be harbingers of a world that's seeking to emerge. Now, we get to be those beings, you see. And so, the pseudo powers that be may want to keep you in fear. But the one power says, fear not. It's God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, the queendom, everything. Are you gracious enough to receive it? That's where your spiritual practice comes in. And then you become celebrants. Celebrants of the divine. You remember, I'm closing out. But you remember the story of the sacred monks in the monastery. You remember the story that was translating the sacred text? And one monk screams out, "Oh my God, no!" And they say, "What's wrong?" He says, "It says celebrant, not celibate." He said, "Oh my God, all these years." We're here to be celebrants of the divine presence. Dance, sing, chant, love, give, paint, share, pray. Be celebrants of the divine presence. Ooh-wee. You walk boldly on this planet. Remember, we're not here for followership. We're here for spiritual leadership. And if you're tuning into Agape, you want to activate your spiritual leadership so that you can dissect and see through the narratives of pseudo powers so that you can stay free. I'm telling you, that's why you came. You jump down, you say, "Woo, who's going to wake up first?" It might be you, boo. We're waking up, and we want to stay awake, even now. So listen, I want you to celebrate. So this is why we have Dance with the Ref. It's not frivolity. Singing is not frivolity. Chanting is not frivolity. It's activating an energetic within us that allows for the water in our body, we're mainly water, to carry the frequency of joy and of love and of harmony that goes through our entire body. Organs get fed, aging process slows down, the condition for disease is eliminated, and we carry the capacity to hold more light and luminosity. If our eye is single, thy body shall be full of light. Let's look at this being that's sent in this video of Dancing with the Rev at Agape, Jen Broyles. Hey, Jen. Oh, I see those pictures in the back. That looks like Whitney. Picture. She's got the Breathe t-shirt on. Give her a little chat in there. Tell her she's got some good news. sing a song. That's Earth, Wind, and Fire that she's playing. Well, I guess we're playing at Agape. Get ready to dance. Tertullian and the band is coming back. They're going to want you to dance. That's Jen Broyles. She took the time to send us a video to see her celebrate the divine presence. Come on, Jen. There you go. Give Jen some love on the chat there. You ready? Are you ready to get down? Are you ready to get down? That you may get up. You're getting down so that you can be raised up. Here we go. Here's Tertullian. Here's the people.
Hey.
Here it is. Here it is.
Come on. Yeah.
I know we're doing everything that we want to. Meanwhile, all we're losing, because we won't let go. And yet we go. Let's start thinking what we're doing. Don't let nothing change your mind. Let's start heading homeward bound. Get up off the ground. Stop losing, yeah, losing. Keep rising to the top.
Keep rising to the top.
You gotta wake up your body, wake up your body, wake up your body and move it around. You gotta wake up your body, wake up your body, wake up your body and move it around. Keep on believing all the dreams inside of you, and don't stop achieving, yeah. Let God's love shine on through. And with no condition,
come on out
He's
here.
always with us. It's just keep on moving. I know through prayer we can get there. Be patient. Let's keep rising to the top. And we won't let nobody stop us. Oh, just keep trying, yeah. Ooh, baby. Ooh, I want you to. Let's keep rising. You gotta wake up your body, wake up your body, wake up your body and move it around. You gotta wake up your body, wake up your body, wake up your body and move it around. Big time illusions create a lot of confusion, but the time has finally come. Let's get it done. Keep moving, yeah, moving. Let's keep rising to the top. And don't let nobody stop us. Just keep trying, yeah. Ooh, baby, to each other. Spread some love a little farther. Keep on giving all you got.
Dance it, dance it.
Rising to the top. We won't let nobody stop what we're doing, yeah. Oh. Just keep moving your body. Moving your body. Moving your body. Keep moving your body.
Celebrating that divine presence. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Give it. I say give. The feeling's getting stronger, yeah.
God bless.
Dana.
Keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising, rising. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising, rising, rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising, rising, keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising, rising, rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising to the top. Keep rising, rising, rising to the top. Keep rising to the top.
Expand your awareness. Say yes to life. Say yes to beauty. Rise to the top. And keep on going. Are you feeling that? Are you catching this? Let yourself become a celebrant of the divine presence, of divine life. Yes, the life divine. Come on now. Little movement here. And we slowly begin to become still, quiet within ourselves. The movement has provided the place that makes introspection and transpection possible. Because we've gotten a lot of energy, released a lot of energy. Now we can be. Now we can be still. And we can feel. Be still and feel. The real deal. Even now. Recognizing the presence, we allow a great degree of gratitude to well up in our hearts. Stay with us and give yourself permission to rise up in gratitude right now. Rise up in thanksgiving and appreciation right now. This is the beginning of our prayer. We always leap into gratitude and thanksgiving, even if it's a bit difficult. We find something to be grateful for. And in this consciousness of gratitude, our perception becomes more and more clear. And instead of seeing through a glass darkly, we see the presence everywhere, shining, smiling at us through the flowers, bowing at us through the trees, calling our name in the very ground that is holy that we're standing on, and seeing the light and the shimmering luminosity in all the beings that we meet, we see God. It is from this recognition that we feel a pure sense of unity with the presence that's never in absence. Something within shouts out, I am. Something shouts out, I am that. Something shouts out, I am that which thou art, and thou art that which I am, one and the same. No distance, indivisible oneness. And from this consciousness of oneness, the word is spoken. That word is a vibration, mind you, a vibrational idea that contains everything it needs to fulfill its unfolding mission, spoken with the authority of one knowing that all that there is God, and everything that is a manifestation of the only thing that is. I speak it for each and every one of us now. That divine freedom and spiritual liberation is the order of the day. I speak the word for each and every one of us now, that divine wholeness and wellness and well-being reigns supreme in our life. Receive it. I speak the word for each and every one of us right here and right now, that all of our needs are met. That includes harmonizing prosperity and abundance, affluence and effluence, effluence before affluence. Something, wonderful is happening. Oh, feel that. Don't attach it to anything right now. Just feel that something wonderful is happening. Something wonderful is emerging. It's not against the law to feel it. It's the right use of the law to feel it. And so we feel we feel it. We walk in the direction of our prayer work. Feel it. Feel this.
I believe the moon and sun will shine up in the sky, and when the day is gray, I know it's clouds just passing by. He'll give peace and comfort to every troubled mind. Come Sunday, that's the day, that's the day. Lord, do day, Lord day, Lord, I don't know let they don't come Sunday, oh come Sunday, that's the day, the day.
And that's today. Come Sunday, that's today. And you know what? That's every day. Love is passing by. Love is here. Love is now.